The cold water was rising fast, biting at my boots as I sprinted down the narrow corridor. The power had gone out 10 minutes ago when the engine exploded, and now the emergency lights were flickering like they were in on some sick joke. Water poured from the ceiling, surging up from below, turning every step into a desperate dance to stay upright. Somewhere in the distance, I could hear the ship groaning, a deep, mournful sound that sent a chill down my spine. I had minutes left, maybe less. The cargo ship had hit something, maybe a rock or an old wreck. I couldn't tell, and it didn't matter. The hull was breached, and the ocean was rushing in, cold and unyielding. I pushed forward, my heart pounding in my chest, my lungs burning from the acrid smoke still hanging in the air. Each step was a battle against the slick floor, and the freezing water clawing at my legs like it had a mind of its own. "Mayday! Mayday!" The voice crackled over the emergency intercom just as I reached a sealed bulkhead door. "We are sinking! Position unknown! Mayday!" The transmission cut off with a hiss of static, followed by that awful groaning metal sound again. I slammed my shoulder into the door, knowing full well it might be jammed. "Come on," I muttered, feeling the icy water creeping higher, up to my knees now. The door groaned, then burst open. Beyond it, the passage sloped downward and was nearly flooded. I could see the red glow of the emergency exit sign ahead, distorted by the water that was now rising to my waist. Taking a deep breath, I plunged forward, wading through the frigid water. My foot hit something hard. Cargo, maybe debris, but I didn't dare look down. A crate drifted past and I shoved it aside, keeping my eyes on the exit sign. Then suddenly, a deafening crash rang out behind me. I glanced back to see the bulkhead crumpling inward, releasing a wave of water that charged down the corridor. It hit me like a freight train. I stumbled, my hands flailing for something to grab onto, anything to keep me from going under. My heart pounded in my ears, and I fought to keep my head above water that was now up to my chest. Come on, I gasped, panic clawing at my throat. I could barely see. My vision was blurred by smoke, my eyes stinging. I pushed forward, teeth gritted, muscles screaming. The exit was just a few yards away, but the ship was tilting sharply, gravity pulling at me like an invisible hand. A sudden lurch threw me off balance, and I went under, the cold water slamming into me. The shock stole the breath from my lungs, and I clawed my way back to the surface, coughing, gasping. The ship groaned again, a deeper, more ominous sound. It was tipping even more now. With a desperate surge of energy, I kicked against the water, reaching for the ladder to the deck. My fingers found the cold, wet rungs, and I hauled myself up, hand over hand, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The water was chasing me, surging up the ladder, trying to drag me back down. I reached the top and threw myself onto the deck, just as the ship shuddered. The deck was slick, tilted at a crazy angle, and I scrambled to my feet, looking around wildly. There, a lifeboat, still tied, bobbing against the side of the ship. I didn't think. I just moved, lunging for the ropes with trembling hands. The ship lurched beneath me, and I could hear the roar of metal tearing apart below. But I was already untying the lifeboat, sawing at the ropes with the knife I'd snatched from my belt. The lifeboat dropped free, and I jumped in after it, just as the ship let out one last mournful groan and started its final descent into the deep. I glanced back once, feeling the cold spray of seawater on my face, then turned away, rowing furiously toward the faint light on the horizon, toward survival.